Welcome everyone to this month's November monthly message. This month we are going to talk about what hope do you refuse to relinquish? If you're new to our community, first and foremost, welcome. Thank you for being here. You are the reason why we've tipped over the 500 member mark in the last couple of weeks, and I so appreciate you joining us here in this wild world of coaching that we are trying to do here as a community and as individuals. And if you're new to the community, then you may not have seen one of these before. So I used to do them every week. Now I do them every month. They're little mini trainings, reminders, nudges, hopeful little insights to help you in the weeks and the month ahead. You know, I'll be honest, I hesitated to record this monthly message and publish it today because here in the US, we have a really important election happening in the next 24 hours. But then I got to thinking, no matter what happens tomorrow, and it's, pretty obvious to anyone in this community what I hope happens tomorrow. And I hope that if you live here in the US that you voted. It's not even really something I hope for. I'm going to request go vote. We have to do that. This is how we get heard. This is how people who don't get heard get their voice. And this is our job, to advocate as a community for one another. And as coaches, it is our job to advocate for one another. But I thought about the reason to publish this today, because no matter what happens tomorrow, we're going to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I hope that the events of 2020 have brought you even more up and into the work that you do. I hope you've thought even more about the hope you refuse to relinquish and how you do that. How do you show up for the things that matter most, that you are expressing through the body of work that you are creating for yourself and with the people that you serve, for the community you serve within, and the greater whole of the benefit of the people that you serve around? And so whatever happens tomorrow, here is my calling up to each of us for the months and weeks and years and days and all of it ahead of us, because the work doesn't stop tomorrow. It does not stop. So here's a quote for the month from Adrienne Maree Brown. This is from an incredible book called Emergent Strategy. And she said, in a fractal conception, I am a cell-sized unit of the human organism, and I have to use my life to leverage a shift in the system by how I am, as much as with the things I do. This means actually being in my life, and it means bringing my values into my daily decision-making. Each day should be lived on purpose. I can think of no better quote for the time that we're in, especially where she says, this means actually being in my life and bringing my values to my daily decision making. Each day should be lived on purpose. I think what she's saying here is no matter how small, she says, I'm a cell-sized unit of the human organism. I am one part of the whole. You and I are one part of the whole. And I have to use my life to leverage with how I am and what I do. And so to inspire how you are and what you do with who you are, here's a reminder about the ways that each of us get to show up in our own unique breath while we're here on this planet. But also in a more fractal conception, please trust that the ripples you make do absolutely have impact. And you may never, in fact, I don't think any of us ever will get complete understanding or access to the depth of impact we have on the world, both in a contribution and also in some extraction. We are here and we're giving resource and we're taking resource, and we never fully know the impact of that. But if you can bring some awareness to your piece of the puzzle, if we all did that, can you imagine what kind of world we might have? So how do you advocate for your hope? Your hope and my hope may look different, but I am pretty certain we're advocating for the direction of the same thing. We don't all advocate for our hope in the same way, however. No matter the kind of coach or practitioner that is on your nameplate or your business card or your website or your about page, the way you show up literally matters. And I mean that how you show up turns into the substance of your life and potentially the substance of someone else's life. And I think knowing what kind of change maker you are, who you are in the what you do, becomes your own guiding light. And I hope that this gives you some agency back that however you show up is perfect. We don't need to show up like everybody. We need to show up like ourselves so that everyone can be and be seen for who they are at their most authentic, true core, their most essence of themselves. This is a teaching I did a few months back on what kind of change maker are you? And I'm bringing it back today because I think it's good content. I also think it's timely content. And I hope that you see yourself in one of these types of change makers. Again, no matter what kind of coach you are, I think right now the call is to be totally and wholly who you are, because that's what we need. So there are my visioners. Visioners are the seers and the big picture thinkers. These are people who think in like meta terms, big picture, big vision, big overarching ideals and ideas. The questions you might be asking yourself if you are a visioner is, what is my impossible vision for our planet? What qualities do I want to see upheld and encouraged? And on a micro level, am I living to those qualities on a daily basis? And who would I get to be more of within this vision? So if you're a visioner, you like to think in big, broad strokes. Don't let the question of how is this going to land deter you from holding that vision up for others to see. We need it. We all need the promise of a better tomorrow. My empathizers. So my empathizers are those of us who are listeners and space holders. Your magic is in what you hear, how you see, how you cozy up to the stories of other people. Questions you might be asking yourself: who am I built to see and hear? Who am I built to witness in this life? How do I want to feel doing my work? You're probably a feeler. The quality of your internal temperature, and I don't mean that physically, I mean that metaphorically, that's important. Because if you're aligned, then the work you do is aligned, and then the people get to feel that alignment who come into it. And how can my own self-care be a model? Your self-care is an act of revolution. It is purposeful and important. My organizers. These are collaborators and community gatherers. These are people who are marching and out there in the streets gathering voter registration. These are people who are knocking on doors, bringing together community, creating conversation spaces. We need organizers because they help tell us who are not organizers where to be and when. So these are some questions you may want to, if you're not already asking yourself. How does being in community bring me alive? If you're an organizer and that's your thread of change makership, you need to be in community. What collective vision do I want to put my support behind? You probably, unlike a visioner, are going to bring all of your resource to someone's vision that you believe in. And a visioner is going to be maybe the one who's providing the vision. And what of my own capacity could be most useful? So as an organizer, what if my own ability and skill is going to have the biggest leverage? My educators, these are facilitators and teachers, thank goodness, right? Because we don't know what we don't know. So if you're a facilitator or a teacher, you're here to synthesize information and distill it down so that others may gather that and bring it into their own life. So what comes easily to me that others want to learn? If you're a teacher, you have a teaching. What are my requirements when I am in the student role? So when I'm learning, because that's going to give great insight into how you want to facilitate for the people who learn from you. And what is the body of knowledge I most want to share? There's so many to choose from, but what is the thing you keep coming back to time and time and time again? Our menders, these are our healers and light workers. These are those of us who maybe work on the front lines of trauma, generational wounding, creating reconciliation, teaching on compassion, forgiveness, healership, mentorship. What am I here to personally heal? And that goes really for everybody. But if you're a mender or a light worker and that is your thread of change maker, there is a personal healing that will have a pretty big, powerful, even if you don't ever see it ripple effect on the rest of us. What collective hurt am I built to support? What collective hurt? So what is it in the world that you see over and over and over that pings in just the right spot? And what does wholeness mean to me? We don't heal just for the fun of it. We're in pursuit of something. We're in pursuit of a return to the reminder that we're already whole. And can we live from that place and show others that they too can live from that place? My disruptors, these are our challengers and our interpreters. Our disruptors, these are our challengers and interrupters. They come in and say, whoa, wait a minute. Whoa, wait, stop. This can't be happening. Do you not see the writing on the wall? These are people whose voice you tune into. If this is you, then you might want to ask, what in the world is a full embodied no? Meaning, what are the boundaries? It's not just about the hope you want to never relinquish, but the boundary you want to set. What full stops must I contribute to? In other words, what do you want to see end? That's what a disruptor does. It comes into what we have deemed to be normal or just the way it is. And they say, no, there's another way. But in order for us to create the possibility of another way, we have to fully stop what we're doing and evaluate why we're doing it. And what hope fuels my fire? I think if you're a disruptor, it can be easy to get disillusioned by fear. There's just so much that we want to see changed. So don't forget, your hope is your fuel. Because at the end of the day, you're not disrupting for the sake of disrupting. You're doing it because you want to bring the possibility of probably more love, harmony, respect to the table. Our advocates. If you're an advocate, you're an ally and an amplifier. You're there to raise the voice and the consciousness of those two voices that we're not hearing. Probably because the system is designed for us not to hear everybody. So whose voice do we hear the least that we need to listen to the most? What resources am I abundant in and how will I utilize them? How do I know when I'm acting in allyship? How do I know when I'm pointing to the voices of others and helping to raise the collective impact? So a few questions for the month as you think about the type of change maker that you are and the hope you refuse to relinquish. Because no matter what happens tomorrow, one foot in front of the other, how are you going to call yourself up? Because I believe that coaching isn't just a modality or a tool for a little bit of self-development. I think coaching could amplify the collective vision of so many of us. Bring more voices to the table, return choice and opportunity to its rightful place. So a few questions for the month. You can either take these to your journal one by one, reflect on them, talk about them, engage in community. What is the single most important hope I refuse to relinquish in my lifetime? There's a lot of causes to care about. Which one is most important to you? And are you giving your full attention to it? Number two, how do I allow myself to be in relationship with this hope? Because when we're in relationship to hope, we also have to be a little bit in relationship with grief. The grief and the loss, the potential that this hope may not be enough, or the thing I desire to see come to life in my lifetime may not come to life. And can I continue to measure my impact rightfully, even if it doesn't look complete at the end? Number three, when I do get scared, overwhelmed, or let uncertainty take this hope away, when do I get scared, overwhelmed, or let uncertainty take this hope away? In other words, what am I thinking or feeling or reading or seeking out that can squash my hope? And number four, how do I weave this hope through the work that I do? Do people know that you believe in this? Can they see it all over your body of work, your content, your modeling, your values, your copyright, your program design, your actual coaching conversations? Do people know what you stand for? I sure hope so. As a coach, you have the opportunity in times like these to be an advocate of hope through the work that you do. That's what I think. That's one of the benefits, one of the beautiful benefits of being a coach. I get to talk about things that really matter to me. I don't have to compartmentalize my value system from where I spend my time. A few things coming up this month and in the coming months. So if you enjoyed this conversation today about what kind of change maker you are, you might really enjoy Awaken Your Life, which is my 200-hour Master Life Coach training program for creative change makers. We are currently enrolling for the 2021 cohort, which kicks off on March 22nd in just a few months. You can find all the information at awakenyourlifecoach.com. And on Thursday, November 5th, we have a free 90-minute Taste of AYL class, 5 master skills of transformational coaches. If you just want the content, come hang out with me. There's a link below to register. It is totally free. And in addition, my hands down most popular masterclass I teach every year, Planning for a Successful fill in the blank. This year, it is Planning for a Successful 2021. Normally, this is a 60-minute class. This year, we're going to put a little bit more weight behind it. This year, it is a half-day, 4-hour live workshop on November 24th from 10 to 2 p.m. Pacific time on Zoom. You can find all the details at awakenyourpractice.com/2021. If you're ready to create a successful plan for your business that brings your vision to life in 2021, considering the events of this year, which I hope you are, then please come and hang out with us. Registration is open in just a couple of days, and it is pay what you can. That class is pay what you can, truly. Please choose the amount you want to pay. Come and join us for a 4-hour workshop. Let's get your plan in order for next year. All right, y'all, happy November, wherever life finds you as we have this countdown to the end of the year upon us. We are moving ever so slowly through this beautiful season of fall into the hibernation and the much needed restoration of winter. And I hope that no matter what happens in the next 24 hours, you find your footing, use your voice, use your work as a force for some pretty incredible good in the world. All right, y'all, take care. I'll see you in the community. Bye.